Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to present this proposal for a special use permit for a shelter use in the facility at 8,000 West Colfax Avenue and 1447 Allison Street in the city of Lakewood. This presentation was developed and recorded by Chris Connor, Manager of Housing and Thriving Communities in the city of Lakewood, as the applicant for the special use permit. The presentation aims to provide information for consideration of the proposal before Lakewood's Planning Commission, as well as information involving the program. We will briefly review the criteria for reviewing the proposal and site identification, discuss the alignment of the use with the city's comprehensive and strategic housing plans, provide a history of homelessness response programming and development at the site, understand important differences between the proposed 24/7 program model and its previous program history, review forms of public engagement that have kept communities informed and involved in the project, discuss the procurement of a program operator and lease tenant of the space, and conclude with current program status. Review criteria for a special use permit involves three broad criteria. First, the use must be consistent with applicable standards and supplemental uses, dimensions and development, and design. The building's external form has not been significantly changed from its prior use, with the exception of improvements in fencing, patio areas, disposal and modifications for fire access, lighting, and surveillance. Use and development of adjacent properties is not expected to be substantially impaired, and we will discuss how both site and program designs intend to mitigate community-level challenges of existing homelessness in the area. We will also show primary areas where the proposed use directly aligns with strategies within Lakewood's Envision 2040 Comprehensive Plan and its Strategic Housing Plan. The site under consideration for the special use permit for shelter is approximately 20,000 square feet and located at the southwest corner of Colfax Avenue and Allison Street. This site is referred to as the Navigation Center. The site has two main entrances, both aligned to the request for shelter use, 8,000 West Colfax Avenue and 1447 Allison Street. A parking lot space at 7900 West Colfax is affiliated with the purchase and program of the Navigation Center, but this address has been withdrawn from the proposed special use permit following request from the neighbors. The lot will not be used for overnight shelter or residence, but may be used for parking and programming not including overnight accommodation. The subject site is zoned as mixed-use general transit. Adjacent zones include mixed-use general transit to the south, east, and west, and mixed-use general urban to the north. Here are three street-level photos of the facility from May 18, 2026. The first was at the corner of Colfax and Allison. Beneath is a photo of the south alley bordering the site. Finally, the Allison Street entrance to the south hall of the facility. Little substantial change has been made to the facade and profile of the existing building. However, the entrance and areas to the south have been re-landscaped with improvements to sidewalk and ramp access. Additionally, a trash enclosure has been built. The program site's redevelopment implements various city strategies. The Volunteers of America Colorado Navigation Center aligns to a primary strategy to meet Goal 20, homelessness resolution, in the Envision Lakewood 2040 Comprehensive Plan. Before the site was remodeled with the new program, there was no facility in Lakewood or Jefferson County responding to this goal. The strategy reads, maintain shelter services for those experiencing homelessness, work towards sustaining facility-based navigation and housing-focused case management services, including 24/7 access to emergency shelter for people experiencing homelessness and domestic violence. The Navigation Center additionally aligns with strategies articulated within Lakewood's Strategic Housing Plan. adopted by City Council in February 2024. Strategy 2B1 addresses the problem the Navigation Center will solve through a special use permit in mixed-use zones. Approving the Volunteers of America Colorado Navigation Center's special use permit request is a direct implementation of this strategy. Strategy 2B1 reads, create more opportunities for a range of shelter and housing choices. Currently, Lakewood has no overnight shelter facilities, even though it is the greatest unmet need for people experiencing homelessness in Jefferson County. Permitting shelter as an allowed use with a special use permit in more mixed-use zone districts would provide more local location options. The Volunteers of America Colorado Navigation Center achieved Strategy 3C of Lakewood's Strategic Housing Plan that was identified as most urgent and complex, with high impact and a greater direct fiscal cost. Particular design principles for trauma-informed design are invoked within this strategy, and the Navigation Center aligns as a rich example of a trauma-informed renovation. This approach is informed by the experiences of program participants and staff, understanding that the design of physical program spaces can impact program success and create environments that mitigate points of stress and trauma between experiencing homelessness and finding housing and program success. The site design was completed through Shopworks Architecture LLC, a national leader in trauma-informed design principles that has completed a number of successful facility designs for sheltering and professional services to the homeless in Metro Denver region. Strategy 3C reads, create trauma-informed shelter options for the unhoused. The city has been diligently exploring the future development of a centralized housing navigation center where unhoused residents can receive services, meet basic needs, have shelter, and be connected to stable housing. A key element to any housing navigation center will be designing the space using trauma-informed design. Homelessness response services began at the site prior to the City of Lakewood's involvement. The site has a brief but deeply impactful history of providing essential service to people who were remaining on the street. A community-based organization first independently leased a portion of the property for drop-in homelessness response from its prior owner in 2023. City Council approved the purchase of the facility via Ordinance 2024-16 on June 24, 2024. The city closed on the purchase of the facility on September 18, 2024, and the community-based organization became a leased tenant of the City of Lakewood. As a condition of the purchase, 2 use covenants are recorded to the properties, restricting its permitted use for any other purpose other than day shelter services, shelter, housing, and transitional housing for a combined 30 years. These use restrictions would follow upon any transfer or sale of the property. During the winter seasons of 2023 to 2024 and 2024 to 2025, the facility provided shelter under emergency declaration on authority of the city manager on nights when severe weather required shelter provision to save lives. In mid-April of 2025, the community-based provider vacated their lease to allow renovation to proceed. A notice to proceed with renovation was provided to a competitively procured general contractor on June 12, 2025. Renovation of the facility continued into March of 2026. During renovation, City of Lakewood completed a full competitive procurement for an operator-tenant of the facility. This procurement involved important revisions to the program model. Volunteers of America Colorado was identified as the new operator. Volunteers of America Colorado received the first guest to the remodeled facility on March 10, 2026 via a temporary 120-day use from Lakewood Sustainability and Community Development. The facility will undergo a second phase of renovation to the North Hall with a more modest scope in summer or fall of 2026. This would be completed concurrent with program operations and does not expand program bed capacity. This design drawing of the site highlights the areas of the facility renovated for safe and dignified shelter use. The North Hall, shown in red, was not within scope of the first phase of renovation, but will undergo a more modest scope of renovation in 2026. Significant aspects of the Phase 1 renovation of the South Hall include 4 dorm areas assigned for men and 2 for women, 2 smaller dorms that can be assigned at will depending on program need, 2 individual rooms, one equipped with bathroom and shower, to manage special needs within the program, such as isolating a guest who has an illness. Also, a respite room near the entrance of the facility. Increased capacity for hygiene and restrooms, including commodes, showers, sinks, and water bottle filling stations. Lounge and reception areas, including laundry facilities for program participant use and modest seating with tables and chairs. Improved outdoor patios, including animal relief areas for service animals and patio spaces. Staff workstations and reception areas, and a room to mitigate pests. Beyond space design of the interior, additional renovation included expanded utility and surveillance capacity of the site. All utility feeds to the building were expanded, with an ability to operate minimal functions of the facility via generator if there is a prolonged utility outage. 10 security cameras were installed in the interior of the South Hall, with a dozen cameras installed on the exterior of the building, providing constant surveillance of the building perimeter. Here are some photos of the original site environment and the completed remodel of lounge, dorm, and restroom facilities. As shown here, each participant in the program is provided a twin bed with some dorms being bunked, and individual locker storage for personal belongings. Additionally, the space contains ample shower and hygiene support, including laundry. In addition to the facility remodel, important changes were made to the program model in order to mitigate challenges experienced by the original program. 3 fundamental changes were introduced to the operation to right-size the amount of activity affiliated with the space and within the community. First, the original operator was limited to daytime service that often did not extend to weekends or beyond mid-afternoon hours. The new model, proposed through the special use permit, allows overnight operations to assure program participants are not released to encamp nearby areas at a closing hour. The new program would remain open 24/7, 365. Second, the original operator provided program access through self-referral, drop-in, and walk-up access to the facility. The new program model is referral-based through professional navigator staff. This allows a more intentional intake into the program, deepens participant connection to services provided, provides a connection loop to professional staff if participants exit the program, and right-sizes the number of people enrolled to the program. Finally, by way of walk-up access, the original operator did not have a ceiling or limitation on program capacity and served as many people as arrived on any given day. Many participants accessed shallower levels of care and did not access professional case management. While we believe all people should have access to essential basic level care, we also understand the limitations of the facility and staff to connect this care at the site. The new program, which requires a special use permit for shelter use, limits the total program capacity to the bed capacity of 100 guests who are enrolled in the program. This means that the program model does not provide services such as meals, case management, or basic needs beyond those enrolled in the shelter use. The only exception to this would be if a pre-enrolled individual accesses the facility for a scheduled appointment with a case manager to reconcile a restriction and re-enter the program. Otherwise, program access is restricted to only those who have completed an intake for a bed and remain accountable to the program. City Council has received frequent updates on the Navigation Center, both regarding programming and the renovation of the physical facility. These updates have been provided in a variety of settings, from presentations to the full City Council and the Housing Policy Commission, to attendance at local individual ward meetings for direct presentation and open question and answer from constituents. Additionally, City Council was invited to tour the facility renovation and meet and serve a meal to recent guests of the facility while operating under its temporary use. Beyond engagement through channels of City Council, the Navigation Center provided regular and ongoing updates on the renovation project and program at monthly meetings of the West Colfax Community Association. These meetings are public and provide an audience of community stakeholders, city, county, and national representatives, businesses, and registered neighborhood organizations. The Navigation Center continues to provide updates through Volunteers of America Colorado and city attendance at these monthly meetings, where it holds a regular and consistent place within meeting agendas. Neighbors of the Navigation Center were invited to attend a neighborhood meeting on April 28th on site of the Navigation Center or virtually for more information about the program and the request for a special use permit. In addition to the schedule of community updates listed in the previous slide, static outreach was provided through large weatherproof signage placed on construction fencing at the corner of Colfax and Allison Street for the duration of the construction project. This signage included information about the proposed use, web link information on the project, as well as a QR code to scan for an immediate link to the project's webpage. Signage was taken down upon removal of the construction fencing in March. During the renovation of the Navigation Center, Lakewood selected its operating partner, Volunteers of America Colorado, through a full competitive procurement. Though not required, the review committee included robust membership from city and community-based stakeholders to assure a recommendation was made that included strong community-based perspective. This committee included 2 staff from City of Lakewood's Housing and Thriving Communities, a Lakewood Police Commander, the Affordable Housing Coordinator at Jefferson County, a board member of local non-competing nonprofit agencies affiliated in homelessness and poverty response, and the executive staff of the combined West Colfax Community Association, 40 West Arts District, and West Colfax Business Improvement District. This community reviewed formal written proposals and attended presentation and interviews from proposing organizations before deliberation. Volunteers of America Colorado emerged with unanimous recommendation for contract to operate the Navigation Center. The recommendation was accepted for the $3 million contract, which was then supplemented by an additional $250,000 in one-time startup funding through Colorado Department of Local Affairs. Volunteers of America Colorado is a nonprofit faith-based organization that has served Colorado communities for 130 years, helping individuals and families transform their lives. Today, through more than 50 human service programs, Volunteers of America Colorado serves over 100,000 people each year. Across the metro region, Volunteers of America has successfully integrated programs like Theodora Family Hotel, Sinton Sanctuary for women aged 55 and older experiencing homelessness, the Irving Street Women's Residence for women experiencing homelessness with co-occurring mental health challenges, and veteran housing and support services in communities throughout Colorado. Volunteer of America Colorado's continuum of services moves beyond their successful operation of housing facilities to include programming in family and early childhood services, food access, and workforce readiness. Lakewood residents may be familiar with the Deanna Koontz Early Learning Center, a short distance across Sheridan on Alameda, as well as their holiday toy distribution, most recently held throughout a December day in the parking lot next to Kelly McGregor Field. Still more work is already happening in Lakewood through Volunteer of America's Colorado's Meals on Wheels programming and support of our veterans. Together, these services are designed not only to meet immediate needs, but to strengthen communities and create lasting pathways forward for the people Volunteers of America Colorado serves. Volunteers of America Colorado is a skilled and responsible partner with a strong record of pairing outcomes to navigation and shelter programming. A recent comparison of Volunteers of America Colorado shelter programming to shelter programming statewide shows Volunteers of America Colorado guests exiting to permanent or positive transitional housing outcomes at a much higher rate than shelter programming in general. These outcomes speak positively to concerns for program guest recidivism back to street homelessness. Volunteers of America Colorado shelter programs demonstrably outperform shelter programming throughout the state of Colorado. Prior to debuting the program, Volunteers of America Colorado and Lakewood Police mutually drafted program policies and procedures to assure cooperative operations in interests of program and community safety. This includes available designated space for Lakewood agents in the North Hall area, negotiated guest rules and expectations, crime reporting including video surveillance access, and clear and agreed upon staff protocols for all police interactions at the space. As a result of the unique structure of Lakewood Navigator programming, many of Lakewood Navigator's referrals to the Navigation Center will already have some familiarity with the Lakewood Police, since two of our navigation professionals are civilian staff of the Lakewood Police Department and accompanied with a Lakewood Police agent in the field. The program tracks participant intakes back to the navigator who placed the initial referral upon restriction or positive exit from the program. The expectation is navigation teams will reconnect with any participant they've referred who is not successful or is restricted from the program to assure they remain connected with their original municipality. Many restrictions can be reconciled with readmittance to the Navigation Center. A reconnection with the referring outreach professional may facilitate reconciliation and re-entry to the program. Finally, the West Colfax Business Improvement District remains partnered on potential volunteer and vocational programming for participants of the program as well. Thank you for learning more about this project. To close, it is important to communicate that the Navigation Center is an essential component of a fuller response to homelessness within the city of Lakewood. The Navigation Center will not replace ongoing street-level outreach and engagement with our neighbors experiencing homelessness. Neither does it replace the expectation of compliance with law or the enforcement of existing law in the city of Lakewood. The program is voluntary and is not designed as a long-term clinical care facility or lockdown facility. Program participants will not be required to remain inside at the program, but are expected to participate positively throughout the community and within the space. Finally, homelessness is solvable, and the success of the Navigation Center depends on an ongoing commitment to identify housing opportunity within Jefferson County that is attainable and affordable for those seeking to leave the street. Thank you.